Hello, everyone. I welcome you specially to this session of BSS, and it's tagged Fundraising for Startups. And later on, we'll be narrowing down to how to attract grants for your businesses. My name is Bidemi Olorukoba, and I'm the founder of Duketra Fisheries. Firstly, you should be wondering, why should you listen to me? Or why should you listen to this young man rather than Dr. Joel? Well, God has helped me to secure a few grants for my business, and recently I've been privileged by God also to be a part of people's journey towards securing grants from international sources. Right, so I think I have something to tell you about securing grants. I think I have something to tell you about raising funds for your businesses. And I would like you to know that according to the Startup Act, recently signed by the Federal Republic of Nigeria, signed by the President, every business below 10 years is categorized as a startup. So now you know where you belong. Yes, let's move further. Just like the humans, capital is the blood of every business. Once somebody dies, if you cut the person's skin, you don't see any blood anymore. The same way, once a business is about to die, the capital is one of the very, very, very potent indicators that you used to know a dying business. All right. And whatever it is, the impact that your business is offering to the community around you, or individuals, or your target customers, your capital will determine how well you can scale. And for every big business, you need more than any resource one single man can offer. Because one man can never run a business if it's going to be very big. You need more human resources, and you need more resources capital wise now than what a single man can offer you. And I like to tell everyone, the first step towards raising capital has to do with the ability to communicate your ideas to another person or a group of investors, or the ability to communicate your business activities if it's an existing business. And to secure any serious funding support through either grants, investment, or a loan, you need a business and investment plan, which is where I will start congratulating you for tonight, because in BSS, one of the things you get to learn is business and investment plan. You get to do it yourself. You might be wondering, I went through BSS, right? So I understand and I know that how to do business plans for yourself. And you need to go back and sharpen yourself on that, how to do a good and a standard business and investment plan. Now, there are several types of fundraising, and I will just be talking on a few of them. But our emphasis today or tonight is on grants. The first I'll talk about is personal savings. This has to do with when you save ahead of starting up a business. Take, for instance, you have a 9 to 5 job, or from whatever it is you receive from family or from friends, or if you have any other source of income and you are saving up for that particular business. Or you could have a business right now and you want to start up another later, and you are saving up from the profit or the proceeds of this current business, right, towards that. So that's the one I tag as personal savings. Now the next is friends and family. This has to do with when you just scroll up your phone contacts, look at how many people you have there, who are your friends, who are your family, and you just reach out to them. Hey, I have this business that I want to do, and I need your support. Take, for instance, the startup capital is 200,000. You might decide to reach out to 10 big uncles who can give you 20,000 naira to start up the business. Or you might need to reach out to 100 people to give you 2,000 naira, or 50 people to give you 4,000 naira each, right? Depending on whatever the need is, and depending on the net worth of those who are on your contacts. How valuable are they, and how valuable are you to them? How much are they willing to part away to see that your dream comes alive, right? So the third one is grant. I'll just quickly skip that because we are coming back right to that. And the next is angel investors. Now, angel investors are mostly high net worth individuals who have some funds, and they look out for businesses, right, that are starting up, or small businesses, and they invest in those early stage businesses, right? Because statistics have shown that small businesses have the potential to quickly turn over fast, right? And give you a very high return on investment for whatever investment that you make, right? And what these people do is they bring their funds for about 20 or 10% of your business for a period of maybe 4 years or 5 years, while they guide you where the need might arise. They guide you and see that the business succeeds, and after 5 years they sell their own shares of the business, either to yourself or to anyone who is willing to buy, right? And they get their capital back and return on investment. And sometimes, in cases where the business dies, of course, you don't have to pay them back because they invested also. So they are taking a risk, right, to bring in funds and see that your business grows, which means your business idea or your business activities at that early stage must be so convincing. Now, the next, which is very similar to angel investors, is venture capitalists. Now, unlike angel investment, where the owner of the fund comes to you, or the owner of you meet the owner of the funds, whichever way, venture capitalists, they are a group of financial experts that take a pool of fund that is put together by some high net worth individuals, right, for the purpose of investment. So these financial experts are paid, right, for them to scout businesses, right, that has potentials, right, businesses that have good potentials to really grow. And these financial experts set up what is called a venture capitalist firm, right? And these funds, which is not their own originally, they just manage the funds for the owners, just like what banks do, right? So we have some venture capitalist banks, right? Although not common at all in Nigeria and Africa, right? But what they do is they pick these funds, invest it in early startup businesses for a negotiated percentage of the shares of the business, and they watch the business grow, or they support the business to grow over a period agreed in the terms and conditions, or whatever contract that is signed, maybe 5 years or 4 years or 7 years, depending on how patient they can be. And at the end of the day, they exit the business by selling off their shares and also taking their return on investment, just like the angel investor. The next I'll be talking about briefly is equity investment. Now, in equity investment, mostly is for existing businesses, where you just get to raise funds for, maybe you want to scale up the activities of your business, or maybe you want to you need some working capital, and you just list out some shares of your business, right, for sale. And interested people who are interested in your line of business, or some people who have been watching you closely, just of course bring out the funds that you need for a negotiated share, percentage share of your business, right? Now, but this time around, they most likely will own it for a longer period, right? Because you are until they decide that they want to sell. And some might not even want to sell, they might keep acquiring more and more and more, right? The next I'll talk about is crowdfunding. similar to raising funds from family and friends. This has to do with you putting up your idea or your project on some platforms like GoFundMe and all, right, where people who are interested in such project, they will just drop a little amount. Before you know, the drops of water will become a bucket of water, and you get to find the exact amount you need. This takes a longer time, and lately it's not been working because the fraudulent guys have been using this, and there's a huge risk because you put out your idea in the public, right? The next is commercial loans. Just like we all know, bank loans or loans from structured organizations, right? Financial organizations. And the major reason why it's called commercial loan is because you are not borrowing that money to eat. You are not borrowing that money for your personal use. You are borrowing the money to invest it strictly in the business, right? And you repay back with interest, right? The next I'll talk about is partnerships. And of course, as the name implies, you partner with somebody. Take, for instance, you have the idea and you don't have the money, right? You look for someone who has the money and believes that your idea, and of course you partner together, and this simply means that person will own a share while you own a share, so you share the profit as it comes. Now the 10th one and the last one is government interventions. I know in this part of the world, Nigeria specifically, right, a lot of us have given up on the government. But I must tell you that there are a lot of opportunities. And what do entrepreneurs do? They dive at opportunities, right? So there are so many opportunities that one can still leverage on, right? And this is mostly common in agriculture, right? Because people must eat, and the government are concerned about that. Now, to grant funding. Grants are usually from taxpayers' money from advanced countries. So what most of these big brothers, I like to call them big brothers, what they do is they just, because people are loyal to paying tax in these advanced countries because they have reasons to pay. They have good roads, electricity and all. So when you charge them for all this, of course they would want to pay that. So these big countries just take a portion of this tax that has been paid and they bring it down to developing countries. It's unfortunate Nigeria has refused to grow since, because we've been developing since, and we refuse to really develop and to be categorized fully as a big brother also, who will be dishing out grants to some of these other third world nations, right? So a portion of the taxpayers' money is brought here, and majorly it's to either ensure we have safe and clean atmosphere and environment. So you see, most times they want to support businesses or projects that target zero energy, or majorly the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, because they are millennium goals, right? So they just send funds to see that your projects that are targeted at climatic action, that are targeted at reducing hunger and all manner of that are supported, and those businesses should not fail. The next source of grants is from private organizations and individuals who are interested in particular projects. Take, for instance, a company or an individual might be interested in venturing into something, and instead of going to do a research independently on that, they roll out call for applications for grants, and people who have existing ideas and they are willing to really work on that project, right, apply for these grants, and they give you a certain amount that you request for to really just go and try it. And when you run the pilot stage and you come up with a prototype, or you come up with an MVP, a minimum viable product, and you start making money, then they are convinced that that can actually be done. They now go, because they have the deep pockets, they now go and invest big. Or in some cases, when you are very good at what you do, they invite you over and negotiate to see how they bring you on board their business. But if it's something they can easily replicate using their research and development department at their business or their end there, they just invest in it because you've convinced them that it can be done. The next that I'll talk about is high net worth individuals who want tax exemptions, right? So in some advanced countries, if you do charity with the equivalent of what you were supposed to pay for tax, you are exempted for tax, right? So this is what a lot of people, like even Bill Gates, that's what he does, right? For tax exemption. And before I move forward, I would like to drop some disclaimer that grant is not free money. Yes, you might not pay back the money you get from grants, but it's not free money. You pay it forward. How do you pay it forward? You pay with your time. You pay with your patience. You pay with your diligence, your thoroughness in the application process, right? So grant is not free money because it's not cheap. That's why some of you have not gotten anyone before now. That's why some people are not getting. And that's why if you apply for 10, you are not guaranteed to get all the 10. So it's not free. You might not pay it back, but it's not free. And it is targeted solely for individuals and organizations who really want to use it for projects and for business operations, either to scale up their business operations or to start an idea afresh. Now, how do you position yourself for grants? Positioning matters a lot in life, and that's why you have the picture of the lion there. Before a lion strikes the prey, it first positions itself, right? Looking at the terrain. Can I pursue a prey here? Is it rocky? What's the landscape like? So there are things you do to position yourself even before applying for a grant. What are they? Quick first steps. You need to have an in-depth knowledge of your business. Like I said earlier, you need to be able to communicate your business idea, or the business activities that you run. You need to be able to communicate it clearly. Then the next is you need to have a detailed business plan and a pitch deck. Now, at BSS, you've been taught about how to do your business plan yourself. The good thing is, if you do it yourself, you'll be able to communicate it to anybody, right? Now, you need to come up with like a pitch deck, a PowerPoint presentation in most cases, or some might request for investment teaser, right? And what next do you need to do to position yourself? You need to get, at every point in time, get your historical financials ready. Your financial statements. You need to get them ready. What are your records like? What is your profit and loss saying? What is your balance sheet saying? What is your cash flow analysis saying? What is your statement of financial position saying? Because this, I tell you, much more than all the English you speak, this is what investors want to look at. This is what grant suppliers really want to look at, because they want to see how profitable your business is. They want to see how well you've been able to fare with what you started with, how well you've been able to turn over what you've started with. And of course, they want to see what the projections will look like. So take, for instance, the proceeds from a grant might be $10,000. They want to see, or 5 million naira. They want to see if this 5 million naira is invested in your business, what will your business turn into over the next 5 years, over the next 3 years. They want to see the effect of that of the funds that they want to invest in you. So it's important to keep these things handy, so that once you see the application, you are applying in no time. And for just people that are at the idea stage, that are yet to start, you need to have a projection. You need to be able to come up with a projection of, okay, we are about to start, but if we get so amount, this is what we need, 200,000. If we get the 200,000 naira over the next 3 years, we'll be able to turn it over to this amount, right? So you need to keep this down. You need to keep it ready. Just like the lion is patiently waiting. These things now, you need to keep them and you patiently wait. Then the final one is you need to be an entrepreneur. What do I mean by that? Entrepreneurs are people that dive at opportunities. So you need to be ready to dive at opportunities. Not that you'll be discouraged when you see it. You need to be ready to dive at opportunities. Grant opportunities. So quick 7 steps to securing a grant. I tell you, this has worked well for me, and not just me. In case you might be saying you are not me. This has worked for people that I've taught. I've practiced this. I've helped people to practice this, and it has worked well for them. So I need you to pick up your writing materials. If you have not been writing, I need you to pay rapt attention to these 7 steps, because this is the apex of why we are here today, right? The first step is identifying grant opportunities. Now, how do you identify grant opportunities? You do that by attending workshops, having or being on advantageous platforms, right? And you also see grant opportunities by research online, or when you seek assistance from experts or people that have gone ahead, people that have received grants before, right? They've been exposed to some networks where opportunities flow. So you need to actually seek guidance or assistance from people that have gone ahead. Maybe somebody who has gotten a grant before, somebody who has gotten a few grants, or somebody who has gotten so many grants before, right? And I tell you, there are some platforms where these opportunities are rolled out together, right? And there will be an opportunity that will also be rolled out at the end of this session. Just stay closely. Now, the next step is, when you spot any grant opportunity, you need to go to the website of the companies or the organizations that are actually rolling out these grants. Who are they? What do they prioritize? What are their values? What do they want to achieve with this grant, right? What benefits are there in this opportunity for me? It's very important. How is it important? Now, if you know what the benefits are, you really know what you are targeting. You really know what to ask for. I'll give you a quick instance. If they say this opportunity will give you an opportunity to meet change makers like you, because if you are really solving a problem around yourself, you're a change maker. So if they say this opportunity will give you an opportunity to meet change makers like yourself, it will give you an opportunity to actually have access to 10,000 US dollars. It will give you an opportunity to peer-to-peer mentorship. It will give you an opportunity to have technical support for your business, right? This is just to mention a few, because most grant opportunities don't just give you money, they support your business well, right? So in applying for this grant opportunity, you won't just say, okay, we need 10,000 US dollars. No, you just simply say, this opportunity will help us meet other people, and that would increase our network. Of course, when your network is increased, you've increased your network. And by that doing, it will give you access to new markets. In fact, I like to put the money last. Why? Because it won't make me look desperate. So without the money, I'm really looking for the learning opportunities. And I tell you, people want to give their money to who is ready to learn. Because as A small business, you don't know everything yet. There are so many things you don't know. And if you are not willing to learn, if all you want is the money, you feel you can do it on your own, then trust me, the business will crash. And they don't, even though they don't want the money back, they want to see you succeed. They want to see you survive the storms of business. They want to see you in the next 15 years coming up as the big business, right? That's why they are giving you their money in the first place. The next very important point is you have to meet the eligibility criteria. So if they say it's between 18 to 35 years, of course you have to be within this, except if you want to forge your birth certificate. And now with the recent BVN, it becomes so difficult to do that, right? So you have to meet the age, the location that they are looking for. If they say this grant is for people in 6 states in Nigeria, and your state is not among, then there's still a way to do that. But it's very important you meet the criteria, right? What type of organization are they looking for? Take, for instance, they are looking for an organization who is into health, or maybe hospitals, or maybe laboratories, and a food business now goes to apply. It doesn't match, right? You are not meeting their interest. So you are just wasting your time putting up a proposal, which is the next I'm going to talk about, because the next you do is you prepare a strong proposal. Most grant opportunities come with format of how they want their proposals to come, right? And what you do is, from the business plan you have, you just pick the points under different topics or headings, right? Then you pick and fill the format of their proposals, right? And if you were the one who wrote the business plan yourself, you'll be able to twist your use of words, right? The next is for you to collaborate with people where necessary. I mentioned the other time about meeting the eligibility criteria. If they are requesting that the business they want to support has to be in Abuja, right? So another easy way to do this is to find somebody who is into what you do, right? And you partner with them by using their location, right? But by all means, all you are doing with the fund is that you are investing it in your business, right? Some might want to take a percentage of the fund when it eventually comes, of course, while some might just do it out of free will. And that's why it's important you build your network, right? The next I'll talk about is you need to ask for reviews, especially from people who have gone ahead, people who have secured grants before, people who are experts in this field. You ask for reviews before you submit finally. And finally, you need to be patient and you need to be persistent, right? Because grant funding takes time. It takes time. I would repeat again, it takes time. And you need to be persistent, because if you don't get this particular fund, you need to have the courage to come again, to try again, to apply again. And with all these 7 steps, they've actually proven to work well. They work well for me, right? They work very well for me, and they've worked for some other people that have been privileged to be a part of their journey to securing grants. And lastly, I would want to thank you for your attention, and also let you know that there are some people, like I mentioned earlier, who have gone ahead. There are some people who they didn't just go ahead, they understand how they got to where they are right now, how they were able to attract some funding for their businesses. And they've actually detailed down these processes and how it's been gotten. And more importantly, there are some people who belong to platforms where some of these platforms are paid platforms, where they get notifications on grant opportunities, right? And this is what I'm trying to create here. This is what I'm trying to offer us here, an opportunity to actually secure grant funding, right? To have access to grant opportunities ranging from Tony Elumelu, which is wide open to everybody, but there are specific opportunities for your business because we have different businesses here, I want to believe, and an opportunity that will be for somebody who is in agriculture will be different from that which is for somebody who is in the health sector, right? So there are different opportunities. Somebody who is in solar, there are different opportunities for every single one of us, right? And how do you get to see this? It's not enough to research on your own. You leverage on some people who belong to some communities, and these communities are where they send these grant opportunities immediately they are opened, or they send you grant opportunities per month. They send you grant opportunities as they are opened when the deadlines are approaching. This is what I'm trying to create, and the platform exists currently, and all you need to do is to signify your interest, and what we offer you is you get to um, see these promptings, these opportunities, and there's an extra added value where I get to, coach you over a very short period of time on how to attract funds, not just grants, how to attract funds for your businesses. Thank you so much once again, and please in the chat box and on the WhatsApp platform, if you're interested in this platform, it's a closed platform, a WhatsApp group, closed one. I go there every time, at intervals, weekly, sometimes twice weekly, to just drop new opportunities that are available, to walk people through how to secure these grants, how to position themselves better for to stand a better chance to get these grants. Thank you so much for your time once again. I'm Bidemi Olorukoba, the founder and CEO of Duketra Fisheries. Until we meet again, cheers.